Mark Rogers TV breaking down the Big 12 schedules and ranking them at 10 all the way up to number 1. And finally, we hit some teams that have scheduled out of conference. So we begin here at number 3 with Oklahoma. And again, these final 3 schedules, the 3 most difficult in the Big 12, have some meat in the non-conference slate. So, of course, the Big 12 plays 9 conference games. Therefore, they only play 3 out of conference. So Baylor, Kansas State play no one. Most of the teams play 1 toughie, 1 Power 5, and 2 softies. There's a couple teams here. Texas is going to be one that plays 2 difficult opponents. I've got Oklahoma in my hand at number 3. They play what's possibly the most difficult non-conference game in Tennessee. Based on last year's results, he would rank this 2nd, 3rd, 4th, something in that range behind Notre Dame and some other opponents out of conference for some of these teams. But Tennessee could be ready to take off this season after 3 consecutive top 5 recruiting classes. This game is in Knoxville. Oklahoma handled Tennessee. It was a closely fought game if you looked at the athleticism and the power and speed on the field, but Oklahoma did not make mistakes. Tennessee did. Oklahoma won that game, I believe, 30-13. So that's game number 2, and this is a barometer game for both Oklahoma and Tennessee, coming off, for Oklahoma, disappointing 8-5 finish. For Tennessee, a surge at 7-6, and Vols fans expect to do even better this year. So for the Sooners, it's Akron to start out under Terry Bowden. Then it's the Tennessee game. Then it's Tulsa. Oklahoma playing Tulsa on a regular basis over the last several years. Within the Big 12, the tough games for Texas, of course, they play or for Oklahoma, they play Texas in Dallas, of course, at the Red River rivalry. The Kansas State games in Manhattan. They've got Baylor and TCU and Oklahoma State to close it out. So Oklahoma's got a pretty light touch throughout the Big 12 schedule until the end. The final 3, difficult for the Sooners. This is where their conference championship hopes are going to be decided. Going to Waco, coming back home the next week in November on the 21st to take on TCU, and then to close it out, of course, Bedlam in Stillwater this year. So Oklahoma's going to have to win most of its biggest games on the road. Again, at Waco, at Stillwater, and, of course, the neutral site game with Texas and Dallas. Also, Kansas State's a road game in Manhattan. Can't wait to see Oklahoma, Tennessee. Big barometer game for Oklahoma. Also a big game for the Big 12. Even if Oklahoma can't win the conference, if TCU or Baylor win the Big 12, knock out Oklahoma, of course, on their way to a championship in the conference, finish maybe with 1 loss, and they beat an Oklahoma team that went out and dumped a Tennessee team that could possibly contend in the SEC Eastern Division, then it means a lot for the Big 12. I rank Oklahoma with the 3rd toughest schedule in the Big 12. Need to hear from you now on Mark Rogers TV.